Right, welcome back, and let me, before we proceed on with our discussion, welcome our guests, Dr. Hussein Shoreibah, Professor of International Planning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Dr. Nader Mostafa, a Member of Parliament. Thank you very much for joining us.
God bless you.
Right, this is the third actually high-ranking Arab visit to Egypt, and in a very, very few times. I'm speaking here about 2 weeks, 2 consecutive weeks that have seen the visit of the Saudi king, after which the United Arab Emirates Crown Prince, and then King of Bahrain. How do you view these consecutive visits?
You want my point of view?
Yes, definitely.
As an economy or as anything else? As an economy, I would tell you it's a very important issue for one simple reason. Egypt is right now is a steady country, very well open to its brothers. And we have set an example that we need your support, and we will give you also our support. Why? Because the country of Egypt is not a small country. It is the core of the Middle East. If you want to do anything within the Middle East, you don't have a kind of a green light from Egypt, you are in deep problems. So Egypt is setting this for examples, and we are trying to say to them, beside this, that right now the turn of investments is much better. Not only this, you will find the top of the head of the country itself is really supporting any investors to come anytime, anywhere, whether it's a mega project or a semi-mega project or a $1 billion project. When I say this, that means that Egypt is converting from the enormous situation of a closed economy to an open economy. And that's very clear. The best part of this, that not only the Arab countries are keen to come and visit this.
Yes.
See, from the European Union, how many presidents came with their businessmen, with a
huge business delegation accompanying them, including, of course, the French president and the vice chancellor of Germany.
From the point of view, Egypt is turning into enormous, excellent, professional manner of having a very stable economy, not for Egypt, but for all business to be occurred here in the Middle East.
Yes. That is from the very economical point of view. If we speak about that politically, because politically we have lots of spheres that we are speaking about, lots of challenges, lots of threats. If we're seeing the kings or the Arab kings of what we can call the powerful countries in the region, the still on the ground countries on the region coming to Egypt. What kind of message did this send from the political sphere?
In fact, it's not only a message, it's actual work on the ground. We are doing something different. Instead of having single kind of relations with specific countries, instead of having lots of troubles on our external policy, which was there a few months back, having troubles with African countries, having troubles with some European countries, and getting in lots of problems with different spheres on the international relations. Now we are going in a very strong manner, not only with one country, we are doing it step by step. Look to what we did in Security Council and gaining membership in Security Council. Look to our situation with the African Union. Look to the situation now with the Arab countries. It's king after king. They are coming in a very regular manner, in a very, let us say, we are doing it in a mega, if we are speaking about mega projects, we are doing it in a mega kind of trend. We are going with the Arab countries in a very strong dimension, in a very also strong strategy toward our external affairs. It's also clear on the parliament when we find almost daily groups coming from all over the world, high-rank groups from different countries, lots of presidents, lots of kings coming, visiting the parliament. Egypt already finished this transitional period, and we are going now toward more strong, more stable country, trying with its foreign policy in a very strong manner to do creative kind of cooperation. What we did with Greece and Cyprus. It's a very strong. We are going strongly on our region, not only on the African or Arab or European. We are doing it in a very, let me say, innovating kind of actions. We are doing it. I should say that our embassies and our Ministry of Foreign Affairs is doing its best in order to shift our problems. But unfortunately, the more we are doing success, the more we are facing challenges. Let us speak about the Russian plan. But
well,
lots of issues are
say
there.
That since President Fattah Sisi assumed office, and his words was, we are open to the whole world. If they are open to us, and within a kind of mutual respect and, of course, mutual interests. That was the first thing he said, and that was very much illustrated by our diplomacy. But rather, I'm speaking here about the Arab region, and particularly those 3 consecutive visits that we have been seeing for 2 consecutive weeks.
Yes.
I mean, King Salman, United Arab Crown Prince, and Bahraini King, and the latest, of course, speech by King of Bahrain of how the Bahraini people highly estimate the Egyptian role in protecting and preserving the security of the region. He also said that those distinguished relations are going into a new or a quantum leap of its own. And this is the second time this particular phrase has been said. How do you view such a quantum leap, or such distinguished relations could lead to, particularly between Bahrain and Egypt, and in which exactly fields are we speaking about?
If we are talking about Bahrain, you have to know Bahrain is a couple of islands in the Gulf area. And when you say couple of islands, and Manama is the biggest one, you have to know that the Gulf area is unsecure at this moment. The Red Sea is unsecure. Why? We do have problems in these 2 zones. One of them is in Yemen, and that's a big issue for the Gulf area as well as Egypt. And for us, we have the existing, but we do have a peace talk with them. But still existing, because they didn't show what you call the respect of the Palestinian rights to go on there. So if they go, which is Israel, to this part, we don't have a problem with Israel at all, because what is missing in our case between Israel and Egypt is only one thing, which is we should have a peace talk with the Palestinian, and they have their land, and that's it, and we finish the case. There is one fatal problem is right now coming up, not only to the Arabs, but to the entire world. These guys, they named themselves Muslims, and they put the frame of Islam up front, which is wrong, which like ours.
It's not that.
It's like when you say the 3 Ks of the Christians, or they are not Christians and they are not Jewish, because we respect the religion of the Jew as well as
Dr. Hussein Shoreibah, you cannot count how many crimes were committed by the name of religions.
So what's the problem right now? It's Daesh. Daesh, this terrorist group, is trying to do lots of, but the problem of Daesh is not a big one. It is being supported by big ones. That's the problem. So we, as Egypt, we are fighting them up to any scale, and we can damage them if the support is not existing every time. Because the support is not only money, it's not only weapon, it is people also is being added, and it's not from the Arab countries, they are coming from Europe, United States, Australia, lots of things. So we do have a problem. Daesh is your main core, and it's right giving a hard time with the Gulf area as well as us, as well as what happened in Libya. What is happening down there in Sudan? This is problems. So Egypt is facing the terrorists, and this is why the European Union, as well as one of the TV's show in the United States, said, we wish that we do have a president like the president of Egypt to come and fight Daesh. And this was said clearly. So when we have the king of Saudi, and we have the Mohammed Sheikh Mohammed coming from the Emirates over here, bin Rashid, and we do have the king of Bahrain. Brothers are fighting to each other. Focus. How can we upgrade our strength? This is number one. How can we cooperate even in business and in economy? How can we help our nations together and stand up against any vital problems coming in the future?
Yes, to the challenge. Since you raised the issue of economy, so I here have a report that during, of course, the visit of His Majesty King of Bahrain, Hamad bin Isa, the Egyptian Bahraini Forum was held, organized by the Egyptian Federation for Industries, along with the Bahraini Chambers of Commerce and Industries, and our correspondent Nina Hwaidaq was, and she filed in this report. Let's watch and we'll come back for discussion.
Bahrain have always had a strong historical bilateral relations in so many aspects, and the visit of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa to Egypt is to discuss enhancing Egyptian-Bahraini joint relation in economic areas.
ما في شك بأن جلالة الملك المفدى ملك مملكة البحرين حريص على الالتقاء.
There is no doubt that His Majesty, the King of Bahrain, is keen to meet his brother, His Excellency, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, to arrange on all issues that concern the Arab nations. His Majesty is continuously connecting with our brothers in all Arab nations. Of course, Egypt has a great position in the heart of His Majesty, the King, and the people of Bahrain as well. Egypt is the beating heart of the Arab nations. This visit has so many aims. We're expected to sign a number of agreements in the fields of investment, culture, and media. We are keen to meet everyone in this visit. I'm very happy to be here today. People and in my country, Egypt.
The two countries are they complement one another socially, economically. They are very much well connected to one another, and they usually speak of Egypt as being the first country that helped them to learn and helped them, and did actually most of the Egyptians did in Bahrain. So it is a historic relationship. And the attempt and the aim of this visit is to put it into effect in the sense of that our economies has to be complemented. So the historical relations ought to be reflected into something more tangible, that both countries to interact and to interchange the relationships.
The visit between the two leaderships play an important role in strengthening and deepening these ties, especially in the economic field regarding investment, trade and industry, tourism, which has been expanded.
Look, Egypt is an important country in the Middle East, and we have always enjoyed a strong relationship between Kingdom of Bahrain and Egypt. And this comes at a very timely visit for His Majesty the King of Bahrain, to strengthen the relationship, to deepening the bilateral and the economic and political relationship between the Kingdom of Bahrain and Egypt.
Relations between the Kingdom of Bahrain and Egypt have an exceptional role, and the leaderships will strengthen the ties. Zina Hwaidak, TV International.
Right, welcome back, and back to you, Dr. Nader. And we were speaking about the challenges facing the whole region, and indeed they are very much large and enormous. If we speak about King Hamed's visit, two important visits he made. His visit, the first was to Al-Azhar, where he met with the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar. He of course hailed the role played by Al-Azhar in teaching Islam, moderate Islam, and he made another visit that is the first of its kind to the cathedral, during which he met with Pope Tawadros. The significance of how did you view those two visits? And by the way, this was repeated. I mean, when King Salman came, he made the same visits. Each of them, I guess, had its own significance and message.
Yes.
Please.
It's ordinary to make a state visit by president or by king to different countries of the world. But the issue is that it's not a visit for getting photos. It's not visit for having ordinary kind of relations between two countries. The issue is different. Timing is very strong issue. We are going through lots of troubles in the whole area. Arab countries realize that without strong Egypt, the whole area will suffer a lot on the coming few years. So all of those leaders need to stand next to strong Egypt, to stand next to stable Egypt. And they are coming not only for taking photos, no, lots of treaties, lots of activities. They are there on Cairo streets, even foreign leaders. The French president was keen to stand in front of the citadel and take photos on the street to show the whole world that...
Actually, the French leader made very important visits, the Coptic Museum, and many issues, even the metro.
All of them, they are showing the whole world how safe, how secure, how stable, how strong. So it's really a new trend of our external policy. We are changing Egypt from inside. All our inside and outside kind of negative points or anybody trying to put us in trouble. And on the same time, we are doing it also externally in a very strong way. So the visit itself is different. We are in front of kings who are roaming in the streets, sitting with the moderate kind of Islamic or Christian religions, going toward the state kind of institutions, because at the end of the day, it's Egyptian institutions. It's our church. It's our Al-Azhar.
It's our prestigious religious institution.
Yes, and this is the thing that will keep the Egyptian young men strong and powerful for the next kind of wars. But on the same time, again, I want to return to the same point. We are facing lots of troubles.
Yes.
Look to the Egyptian citizen who burned in London a few days back. Look to what's going on in different issues. While we are having strong relation with Italy, there are many people trying to cut this relation with Italy by the young researcher. Whenever we are going to have strong stage with Russia, we are having the plane crash in Sharm el-Sheikh.
Yes, each time, yes.
We
very
are,
much
it's very clear.
Yes, each time that Egypt has its kind of distinguished relations with a party or a country.
Even with Saudi Arabia.
Suddenly something
Even with Saudi
erupts
Arabia, look how lots of parties try to issue of the two islands in a very strong and strange way, you know, without sitting, without arguing, without discussing, without seeing the documents. It's like, you know, it's issue for show, an issue for media to put it and to make the relationship between the
tradition between the Egyptians.
Yes.
So we can be so we can really be involved in other kind of problems out of realities which are really, or out of real threats that are threatening us. Yes, indeed.
Can I add something, Mike?
Yes, please do.
Egypt is coming back again to be the real tiger of the Middle East.
Yes.
Okay? So when I say tiger, I'm talking about economy. It's like the Asian tigers. So Egypt is the tiger of the Middle East. Beside the Gulf area, they are the tigers of the oil and gas.
Yes.
So it's a plus to them as well as a plus to us. A message sent from King of Saudi as well as King of Bahrain. This message I want to say to everybody trying to ruin and put Islam world in a wrong situation. Muslims have a full respect to any believers, whatever his belief, even if it's not one of the two other religions which is originally came from God. So when you talk about Judaism or you're talking about Christianity, you're talking about Islam, the three are wonderful and the three are good. But we are not against any one of them. And we love all these people, and we do have families from the Jewish still this moment are in Egypt. We do have when he went to the Pope here in Egypt, there will be a church, Christian church, Egyptian Christ, because the Egyptian church is totally different than the European. So it will be there. Why? Because the laborers, Egyptian Christians moving there and working there, they can perform their belief so easily.
Yes.
It's a very common. The family, the Arab family right now is gathering, especially, I will tell you something that's coming up, and that's a very shining thing. Most of the leaders are young.
Yes.
In every aspect, and they want to gather. When you have young generations and they want to capture, the future is with you. Always think about this.
When you have a young generation, the future is with me if they let us live.
Yes. We are not waiting for permission from anybody.
No, definitely not.
Although
definitely
lots of troubles are there politically, I mentioned maybe economically, the dollar problems and these kind of things, but
it's just what they instigate in order to put some obstacles in our road. But
we will do it.
Yes,
Egyptians will do it. President Fattah al-Sisi is really the man to stand with all the Egyptians in order to go forward with them. He will be able to put Egypt on the position that this great country deserves.
Well, let's say it is 90 million will do it on the spot with the leading of President Ahmed.
Yes, definitely. That is the issue. Before we continue on with our discussion, another report here by Dina Hwaidak, also from the Egyptian-Bahraini forum that was held, and many of the agreements were signed within. Let's watch the report and come back for discussion.
Bahraini Egyptian Business Forum was held during a 4-day visit by Bahraini King Hamad ibn Isa Al Khalifa and Zayed bin Rashid Al Zayani, Bahraini Minister of Industry, Commerce and Tourism to Egypt. The forum's main aim is to explore the possibilities and areas of cooperation between the two countries with the objective of supporting inter-trade and increasing the private sector in Bahrain to implement joint projects in Egypt or both countries.
Well, the importance is to introduce both companies together or both countries. What are the opportunities in investing? What are the opportunities of trading? What are the mutual agreements that you have, for example, for the African market, for the European market, for the Arab world market? Also, from the Bahraini side, they have very good relations in the Gulf area, in the eastern part of Saudi Arabia, and also have to concentrate on the needs of both markets. What are the essential for both markets in order to give it priority to invest in those priorities and to fulfill the needs for both markets.
The forum was organized by the Bahrain Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Federation of the Egyptian Industries in presence of more than 40 Bahraini companies, as well as a large number of Egyptian companies and businessmen. During the forum, 11 agreements were signed and MOUs in different sectors.
Today, 11 agreements have been signed between memorandums of understanding and agreements in various sectors covering the civil society, and by that I mean the professional civil societies like businesswomen or the Association of Businesswomen in Egypt with the Bahrain Businesswomen Society, as well as the Chamber of Commerce, the Committee of Businesswomen, as well as in the pharmaceutical.
The forum focused on ways to develop Bahraini-Egyptian business relations and overcoming hindering the economic cooperation between the two sides, as well as the establishment of new trade exchanges. The Bahraini-Egyptian Business Forum is a good opportunity to promote the cooperation between Egypt and Bahrain and to encourage the investment and inter-trade between the two countries. Dina Hwaidak, Nile TV International.
Right, welcome back, and back to you, Dr. Nader, because we have very few minutes to go on with, and let me ask you, Sam, to wrap up, what kind of relations do we need with our Gulf brothers in this upcoming stage?
In fact, lots of trust, lots of strengthen our relations, standing hand to hand. And the one great file that all of us should go through is our common Arab forces. In fact, the three great leaders mentioned this issue, and they are ready to stand next to Egypt in order to have these forces as soon as possible. Once we are having united forces, united armed forces to be for all of us, this is a dream, to make this dream come true and to stand against all forces like what Dr. mentioned about IS or Daesh, and also the strategies and the plans against the region.
Challenges from outside, yes.
Yes. So we should, if we make it soon, if we stand, we still have leaders didn't come and didn't show their stand.
Yes.
This for them is very strong. Some of them are very scared of the situation and the dreams of Iran and of others.
Yes.
And once we put steps in this, we are doing great.
Yes, definitely. Very quickly, from the economic aspect, Dr. Shoreibah.
Well, right now, we are going to ask not the investors of the Arabs. We will ask investors anywhere. Please, you have seen our brothers are there.
Yes.
You've seen our neighbors, France, Italy, they are there.
Come and invest in our country.
It's not come and invest, come and gain.
Yes. Definitely, it's come and gain. Dr. Nader Mostafa, Member of Parliament, Dr. Hussein Shoreibah, Professor of International Planning. We thank you both, gentlemen, for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dear viewers, many thanks for watching. Tomorrow will be another colleague with another contentious debate. Good night.